Welcome everyone, and Chris's cat. Perfect timing.
Meow.
Meow. To episode 9.75, our season 9.75, episode 4 of the Wolverines. 9 3/4.
9 3/4.
Yeah, there you go. We do have some new patrons, so I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah,
first.
saw a couple in the Discords. That was exciting.
When's the last time we recorded?
Ian gave up.
There you go. Never mind.
Was that me or you? Did I do that?
That was me. That was
Okay.
me. So Spooksu and Spooksu and Max both became members.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you.
This show is for you.
You still value us.
You guys are awesome.
Appreciate it.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so that's it for those announcements. As far as any other announcements, I don't know. Anything else I can think of to announce? We're here. We made it till
Finally.
We're back.
We're back, I guess.
Ish.
Yay. Wearing my Team Pater shirt representing my merch. You know, that's a good announcement.
Am I
So
wearing a
go
shirt?
check out.
Ooh, I'm not
buy
wearing a
our
shirt.
merch. It's really cool. We got lots of it. Lots of fun. Anything else I can think of? We had a guest. Yeah. So let's get right to that.
That is exciting.
That is exciting. So
It's
Raj,
been a
you
while.
may know him as Morden from Twitter.
Hello.
And we actually got to meet in person last year at Jordan Con.
That's right.
So yeah. Happy to have you on. So
Thanks for having me. Should be
Yeah.
fun.
Welcome to the chaos.
welcome to Chaos.
Chaos
That is
sounds good.
Yeah, that is our podcast that has no script, and then we don't really know what we're doing still. 4 years later.
Correct.
Yeah. Truly.
You know what? We need ribbon ideas, y'all. What are we doing for ribbons for Jordan Con?
I'm doing a time traveling tan ribbon. Definitely doing that. For the Cosmo Reads, we're doing a ska stank.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Because Alondo hates Tensoon, and I'm not going to give into spoilers of who Tensoon is if you haven't read Mistborn. I might make a I love Tensoon ribbon.
Yes, because I do. And I told him that the last time this past Sunday when I hopped on. That is fine.
So I don't know, but for the Will Reads, I'm not sure what else we're gonna do this year, for ribbons. But I'm gonna order them soon, so they're here in time. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Just give
If
me
all
some.
goes well.
Give
I'll
me
take
some
the I
blank
love
ones and
you.
Sharpies.
I do have it's on that drawer. I don't know where it is. I do have like a ton of stickers that I'm gonna be handing out.
Can you order blank ones and Sharpies for me and Chris, and we'll just hand doodle some?
I mean, sure. I mean, I'll just
Personalized,
buy a big thing of like "Hello, my name is" stickers. And you can
Yeah.
just
do it. You can do the one that says always 10 minutes late.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. So you guys got ideas? Go ahead and send them in. Let me know. Hit the Discords. Let me know, or email, or however you want to contact me. It doesn't really matter. I might take one of your suggestions. I might not. We'll figure it out. I might not order anything. I don't know. The way things have been going this year.
I do like Alan. We could always do Rand's harem.
Yeah.
I like that one.
How many ribbons do you usually order when you order them?
So last year I think we did 4 different ribbons, like 4 different things, and then we did I think 100 each, so it was like 400 ribbons total.
And did they all go out pretty quick?
Yeah, I think I have a few left over, and I'm not sure where that would be. There's somewhere in this desk that I have right here, because I have all of the stuff from JordanCon still packed up, like that I haven't unpacked because I just shoved it all in like a bag. And I'm like, I'll just grab it next year and pull the
He's a
bag. It's like
legend.
the bag.
So
It's like
this
the-
year you might
It's
get
like the
an OG
grab
last
bag.
year ribbon.
It's time to go to JordanCon. Grab the grab bag and go. Yeah, so that'll be one of 2 cons that I'm going to this year. Hopefully, actually, not hopefully.
I actually got invited to one and I never responded, and I feel horrible. But
no, that'd be cool.
I
Which
need
one?
to go. Hold on, because I still have it marked unread. Like that's how horrible it is. I'll tell you in a minute. I gotta find it.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
if y'all are messaging me, get the important stuff in like the first 6 or 7 words, because if it goes on to that second line, I might not actually click on it to read it.
yeah.
So
Well, the plan is to go
heck it
also to Valkyrie Con this year, so that's
I'm still trying to figure out a way to make that happen. I know I'm
I got a
running
problem.
out of time, but
Contoberfest.
Sorry about that.
Contoberfest. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. It's a Deep South Contoberfest.
Okay.
And the issue is the date that it's held on, the 11th through the 13th. I might actually be able to make it, but
Where is it?
we were waiting to find out what's going on with my sister-in-law's wedding.
Okay.
It's in Georgia. It's in Helen, Georgia, which is even better
Okay.
because
Oh,
it's in
Helen's
Germantown, USA. I know I love
Yes.
Helen. So
it's so cool.
I feel bad because I honestly forgot about it. I had the tab open and have had it open for months.
Cool. Because I know Dragon Con, that's in October-ish or February. That's Labor Day weekend. Never mind. That's September.
If you have
that's-
anything to do with ContoberCon, I'm sorry. I will get back with you eventually.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So that's the plan. 1 year I will make it to WatCon in Ohio. It's just that going to Europe and to Atlanta in 1 year is my entire budget and vacation time all rolled into one. So sorry.
It's a lot of cons. WatCon's great though. Yeah, I went last year.
Yeah,
We play Powerball occasionally, so if that hits, you might see us
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
never.
yeah.
Depends on the size of the jackpot.
Yeah, when I hit the jackpot, I'll be able to afford to go to one Super Bowl. 'Cause it costs
And a Taylor Swift concert, or just one or the other?
I don't know. Super Bowl's cheaper than Taylor Swift concert, from what I hear. It's like $50,000 to go to a Super Bowl. I think it's like at least 60 to go to a Taylor Swift concert. Yeah, I don't have that kind of money. I wish.
Yeah.
So patron support. Go support us on Patreon so I can go to Taylor Swift concerts.
Yeah, that's what it goes. That's exactly what it goes to.
That's exactly what it
100%.
goes to.
Need the 50 grand tier.
Yeah,
Yeah, $50,000 tier.
Taylor Swift signs up tomorrow.
What? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So personal life. What's going on? My we had a big birthday yesterday at my house, which means we have another big birthday for the podcast because my son happens to have a birthday yesterday on February 6th, which also means
Yay.
it was Ian's birthday yesterday because they share a birthday. So
Alan will never forget. I love it because I wake up in the morning and I have at the past. Well, how old's your son now?
6.
Yeah, so 6 years now. I've been getting messages. Well, 5.
I can't forget it
When
now.
he was
because-
born, I didn't get it. You were busy, newborn. I get it. But ever since then, I wake up to happy birthday, boopty boo.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And this is the fuck around year, right?
This is.
Yeah.
Oh, so those of y'all that follow us on Discord, I posted the chat Alan and I had, and I thought it was pretty clever. I was talking about 1 more year and find out. And he's like, yeah, you got to fuck around first. Of course, we're talking about 42. We find out the meaning of life. But I've thought about this more, Alan. It's not like we hit 42 and we're just revealed everything.
Oh.
Remember, the amount you find out is based off of how much you fuck around. So
Hold on. Let
one,
me
we only
check
fuck around
my-
a little bit. We're only going to find out a little
Let me
bit.
check my guy.
But when you turn 42, it
Um,
means you've already been in your 42nd year. So it's when you turn 41 that you should be figuring things out.
Hmm.
Oh, so did I miss my chance to fuck? I feel like I
Yeah.
have been fucking around quite a bit, though.
Yeah.
If you go back to some previous episodes, I don't think
Yeah.
I waited
It,
too long.
it
on
blows
the around
people's
part.
mind to think about that. But 0 to 1 is still,
Right.
That's
a real
part of the
blow.
first. Yeah, part of that
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah, it's
Probably
irrational.
is
but
part of
it's
your second
still-
year.
That first rotation around the sun. Yeah.
Oh man.
So, you're already
Yeah.
in your 42nd year, dude. You should have your shit figured out now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just waiting on answers now.
Yeah.
Should be here
Any
any
day.
minute.
Hey, look, you did learn that you're still not too far off of your max. So
Oh, hey,
You know,
I
you
will
figure
jump
yourself-
to my
you're
personal
working it out.
life. Couple of great, just awesome stories the last week or two. I told y'all before I'm coaching both of my kids' basketball teams. One, Ronan's 8, but he's playing with 9 and 10-year-olds because he's a badass. And then Rivers in the 14-15 age group.
He's playing with
I'm
the
actually
12,
teaching
13s.
them. I'm teaching both age groups the same defenses, and the same base offense with like minimal motion. 2 weeks ago, they all struggled with it, and we lost our games horribly. We did another practice, kind of honing in on where we were having mistakes and whatnot. And then both teams this last week, we came out and destroyed. Like kids on the other team were crying.
The other team had no idea how to play that defense because they're not used to people playing team ball anymore. Like team basketball
Bingo.
does not happen.
That's what I had to shake out of my guys. We have great individual players, and it took a couple practices and like showing videos and everything of I don't need to see fast breakaways. I know y'all can make layups. I'm not worried about that. We need to take every opportunity to practice our defense and our offense as a team. And once they slowed it down on offense, we got better on offense. Once they sped up getting in place on defense, they were shutting people down.
Yeah,
so
seeing used women basketball is phenomenal. I remember being at one of the practices, and you heard the coach, I forget her name, and I'm kicking myself for it, but you would hear her go, "If everybody doesn't touch the ball before you shoot it, you will do suicides."
Yeah, especially in practice, like just getting used to distributing it makes a difference. So yeah, that was huge. And I still know very little about basketball. I'm pulling this stuff off of YouTube and then just guessing and see what works with them, but it's starting to work. So that was great. And then on my birthday, between work and everything and the kids' schedule, wasn't really hanging out with anybody. It was a night alone by myself. So I was like, screw it. I'm gonna go to the gym. I've been feeling good on the dumbbell press. I'm gonna just keep stacking weight. Who cares if my back goes out? I want to see what I can do. And once upon a time, I'd warm up with 80-pound dumbbells and then work my way up, crack 100 here and there. I haven't done that in a very long time. And since my back injury, I haven't touched anything over like 70 pounds, 75 pounds. But I worked my way up to 90 pounds in the fourth set last night. And at 90 pounds, I put it up 5 times, in the fourth set. So I think in the next couple of weeks, we might hit the triple digits. We might be throwing up 100 pounds. I don't know. I'm getting that old guy strength now, like old man strength.
Old man strength.
Yeah.
It was Coach Hunter. Coach Hunter's phenomenal coach. Like,
okay.
There you go. She got some YouTube videos because I need more. Let me look her up.
I bet you they do.
I know the VCU coach, I think he came from Utah or Utah State, something like that. But he has a lot of there's stuff you got to pay for, but then he has a lot of free videos out there. And
I just one time, if one of your kids like really screws up, he comes back to the bench. I want you to say this.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah. No, I've already not started both of my kids for missing practice, which is clearly out of their hands. It's mine and their mom's fault, but I don't care. You don't come practice, you ain't starting.
Yeah,
you don't know what we practiced this week. Why am I going to put you in the game?
Practice? Practice?
We talking about practice?
They're from the land of AI. Like they know what they're doing.
Right. So, anyways, it's been a really cool last couple of weeks. A lot of successes.
Sounds like it. Right. My weekends have been dope. It's been full of activity. We had our friend Alan Hinton. His sister moved here, so I helped her move in, and then we went out and hung out for the evening. Just all of us siblings. You know how we do. Once you find a friend, they become your brother or sister. It just is what it is. So we did that. Went to the Daily. I don't know if you heard of the artist Daily, Dailey. If you haven't, phenomenal R&B artist. Look him up. Went to his concert. He's back on tour after 7 years, about to release a new CD. Never heard of him before. I thought he was great. Chanel and Alan had heard of him and loved him. And I'm like, they're audiophobes. Is that the right word? Like they love music. They listen to all sorts of music, eclectic sense. Cool. Like it's just, that's them. Did the church thing. And then we went to like a art show. There's a local gallery owner here who brings art from Zimbabwe.
Oh, cool.
And actually sells it. And then all the proceeds go back to Zimbabwe, minus, of course, what it costs him and the small markup that he gives to have the place open. But they have this phenomenal art for very inexpensive cost. And it's just to help Zimbabwe out since with COVID, their market really just tanked. So,
yeah,
that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Just since COVID?
Well,
I mean, the Zimbabwe dollar or whatever their currency is has been pretty bad
Yeah.
for a very long time.
But within that particular realm of like, when tourists go there, they buy things, and these are the things that they're buying, but they haven't been sold in a while. So, you know,
Well, they are on the list of quite a few countries over there that wanted rapid infrastructure growth, could not afford to do it themselves, and there was a country that decided to help them. And the terms in these contracts, if the government wasn't able to pay on time or pay the massive amount of interest, then that country would get ownership in different stakes in the country. And you guys can Google that. I'm not trying to get into that debate, but they let's just say a lot of these countries were unable to maintain the interest payments, and it's becoming a big geopolitical issue over there.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
Mhm.
but they got 3/4 finished roads that are really nice.
It's like when I was in Malaysia. Like, there's tons of towns in Malaysia that have like these theme parks and giant hotels, and they're empty because they had like they went through like if they build it, they will come mentality for a while. Like, so like if we build it, they like tourism will come, and it never did. Like, we walked past like abandoned brand new theme parks and roller coasters and everything, and we're like, did this ever open? It's like, no, it lost funding, it never opened. I was like, why?
I thought this was a good idea.
It's just never been used. It's just,
Yeah, it just sits there, and now it's like overgrown grass everywhere. Like, all the steel's brand new, and I'm like
Sell it.
there was one hotel. I guess it was a Howard Johnson that like
Howard Johnson.
Hojo's.
I've heard that
it was
name.
a Hojo hotel. It was like
Oh, I've stayed at
4-star
Hojo's.
and like
You
super
don't brag
nice.
about it.
Like, and they built one over there, and then they pulled out because they realized they couldn't make a profit over there. But they just kept the
I
signs
do
on there
that often.
because it
Can't make a
cost too much-
profit here. I'm pulling
Yeah.
out.
So it still says Howard Johnson, but it's not owned by Howard Johnson. It's insane. Like, all the crazy stuff over there was just interesting. Like, stay at the Howard Johnson. It's 4 stars. What? What kind of crap is this?
Yeah, I'm so glad you fought with me.
Meanwhile, Alan paid for the speed pass at that amusement park, only to find out he was the only asshole there.
They did turn one of the amusement parks into like a circus, which was kind of cool. So I did get to see a
It wasn't a
horse.
circus, Alan. That was just
There was
the
a
locals
horse that
taking
was
over
like,
the park.
there was a horse that a dog was riding on the horse, then a monkey was riding on the dog, and they're all stacked up running around the ring. And I was like,
I could see you being entertained by that.
I was very entertained.
Yeah.
There might have been some alcohol involved too, but it was fun.
Probably.
So yeah. So you guys are anything from you, Raj? Anything cool going on in your world?
Want to share some life
No.
events?
Not much, usual day-to-day work and stuff. I'm trying to figure out if I can make Jordan Con happen and looking into it. Or, I should have booked the hotel rooms earlier. Now the prices are
Yeah.
Prices are
trying to
already
make it
crazy.
work. And see, might only be a weekend or Friday, Saturday, or something. Not Thursday or Thursday through Monday, but taking a
Yeah.
look. Yeah, you got to jump on those things as soon as they open. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's so hard right now to like plan ahead. And,
Yeah. It's tough.
I don't know
I'll
what
tell
I'm
you,
doing 3 days from now. So months out,
These
I don't
days,
know.
just thinking about months ahead is like I can't think that far. I'm like trying to think one day ahead, like you said.
Right. I need
Yeah.
groceries to make it till next payday, but that is the focus
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Running out of vegetables, 6 more days
Ramen.
to go.
That's what you call
Anyways.
the white bread, bologna, cheese, and eggs, brother. White egg, bologna,
Yeah.
cheese. and
You
eggs.
ever do those peanut butter and jelly Ritz crackers?
Mm.
Gore
Except for I
May.
can't do the peanut butter, but yes.
It's so good.
So, and then you got to go for sun butter when you're my experience, and that's expensive.
When you
so-
can't afford the bread, you just make like peanut butter jelly roll-ups. You just get like a giant pack of
tortilla?
tortillas.
Yep.
But it doesn't work no matter how you fold it. With every bite, jelly goes. it's so messy.
That's why you got to tuck the end, and you gotta fold it, bitch, over.
Hey, that jelly will find a way. Go
Dude,
try it.
food's
after this, I
expensive these days,
promise you.
guys.
That's us.
All right, you guys ready to begin?
What the will read so we can
Yes.
afford to eat.
Yeah. Chapter 9.
I
It
want to be huggable
begins.
next.
What is that?
I said I won't be huggable next Jordan Con if we don't get support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll starve.
If you like the big comfy hugs, send food.
Send food.
It begins. That's what I say whenever I get started. I'm like, we're about to begin. And then literally 2 seconds later, it is.
I run to the corner of the room, ring the bell, boom, and then jump back in.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start with what chapters is 9? Yeah, 9. What are we doing? So Maureen's being led down towards her test. That's how we
It's
start.
about to go down.
It's about to go down. And we've got hints about how much weaves and everything like that she has to do. I think that said in previous chapters that she's been training for it, and 100 different weaves. Mm-hmm. And she's afraid of this test. Yeah. And she's thinking about the things that can comfort her, and she lists them out like 3 things. First, she'll be able to channel during the test. Secondly, she'll still be Moraine Damodred of Carian. And third, she'll still be able to search for the Dragon Reborn regardless of what happens, because even if she's eyes to eye, she's still gonna look for him. So it's kind of comforting in her that, like, even if I don't make it, I'll still have all those.
I find it very interesting that this has like become her main focus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're Moraine Damodred, you have an entire potential kingdom that you could take over and run. Like, what are you running from? Like, that's really what my thought process is come on now. Like,
it's a nice little fallback. If you don't make it here, I can just take over country. That's a fallback.
Yeah.
I think it's cute to think that so the first thing would be comforting, right? Especially she has confidence in her ability to channel, but the other two actually conflict with one another. Dedicating yourself to one is going to make the other impossible. And we talked about this a little bit in the last episode, but I still feel like even in this, it's Jordan really stretching out that transition. The number 2 that you mentioned, like, I'm Moraine Damodred from blah, blah, blah. But remember, by the time we meet her, like, that's something we kind of find out eventually. And she's almost trying to hide it. And when it comes out, like, it's irrelevant, that's not her. It's not part of her life anymore, sort of thing. So we know there's going to be this transition.
Her backup school type of thing. It's like,
yeah.
You can always fall back on Moraine Damodred if my number 1 doesn't go there.
But yeah, she can afterwards she can get her long name, like, I am Moraine Aes Sedai, the Blue Aja, first of her name, Damodred, Seeker of the Dragon. I don't know how I can.
Yeah.
So she finally reaches the room where it's going to take place. Moraine's not too happy to see who's there because our favorite Red Sister's there. Yeah,
I've really still got some love for her. I
do too. I feel like she did them a solid. She felt like she got betrayed, and rather than them doing the smart and caring thing and going to her and saying, "Hey, we're sorry that happened to you. No idea why." I mean, that's a lie, but at that point, they could still lie. I don't know who did it. Don't know why they did it. We're sorry. It could have alleviated so much stress and would have changed the course of one person's life or 3 people's life throughout the entire series. But,
yeah,
it doesn't make for a good story, I guess.
Yeah. So you guys are warming up to Lila?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Do you like her where we are in the books? Like not New Spring. You like her in New Spring. Do you like her?
I like her in New Spring. I don't really care for her. Over there.
Where we're at in the books, part of me is starting to feel sorry for her.
Yeah.
And we've yet to find out. It could be, wrong place, wrong time. Got turned. I think here in New Spring, it would be cool to find out that she hasn't been tainted yet. And, she really had the best interest of Moraine and everybody else that she essentially tortured to prep them for this, Taint.
He said tainted.
Yeah. It's tainted love, but it is love.
Tainted love. Yeah. So now we get to the testing. So anything from all this, anything we missed, anything you guys want to talk about, any questions that
Have we gotten to the part
Josh-
where she gets naked yet?
that's
covered.
We're coming up next.
Yeah.
Too
Getting
soon? Okay.
Nah, you can go ahead.
We're
Tell me
there
how
right now.
beautiful
Yeah.
you
So
think
Rain
she is.
Yeah.
How beautiful is she?
Yeah.
Now let's
she
be
steps
fair to Elida. It is Elida. Elida's not a dark friend. She's being manipulated by dark friends, but she's not one.
Right.
Yeah, she
so
is being
far,
manipulated, yes.
what we know. Yes.
No, she's not.
Right.
I really don't think that'll
strings
ever
are
happen.
being pulled.
Yeah, I think that she's gonna break that at some point. Hopefully.
It'd be nice.
Sure.
So Moraine's naked.
Yeah, so Moraine steps through the Tongriel. The test begins, and she finds herself standing there naked.
Bare
Yeah.
to the bone.
It's another ceremony
No, there's
in the nude.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, so you can read into this all sorts of ways, but you know, what's the point of doing it naked? I mean, stripping yourself down to nothing, no possessions, no anything. That's why I kind of laughed at the second part of the things that comfort her, like her talking about who she is and her name and her family and everything. And truthfully, to start this path, even as an Aes Sedai, forget the Chasing the Dragon Reborn. If you're going to dedicate yourself to that, who you were can only and should only be preserved and used if it's useful to meet an end for the Aes Sedai. But it should not be a goal and something you pride yourself on in and of itself. Does that make sense? So, like, if she sees the ability, the value of using her family name and influence in Kyrian to help the White Tower, if she truly believes in what their mission is, then by all means, that's important. But if where you come from and what your name was doesn't benefit that, then you got to let it go. Got to move on.
Okay.
It's a useful tool potentially at this point, but it's not who you are.
Yeah.
Boom. And she's naked. We're back to that. Yeah.
I mean, this could have pulled from a lot of different sources. I mean, historically, there are a lot of like warrior traditions where you do get tested naked, whether you go back to ancient Greece or even the Gauls in the Roman times. The Gauls and the Vikings were known to, Germanic tribes were known to have these kind of ceremonies where they would attack naked to add shock and awe, but all, just what
Yeah.
to do as it's coming at you, because you have a civilized society and you have a bunch of naked like barbarians charging at you. Like, I don't know how to fight these guys; they're naked. Like, but I mean,
Alan's over
this,
there. Oh no!
oh no,
Stop it!
stop it.
Oh.
But this was, I mean, so I don't know where Jordan, pulled some of these traditions from. I know for like the is it? It might be for part of the Aes Sedai ceremony, or is it? It's septic test where they go topless or whatever. I think it was an interview. Jordan said it relates back to like the Pope, like when you're like the Pope's being raised. There's a ceremony where he gets his balls felt to make sure he actually is a man. Like it's part of like I'm actually a woman.
They are doing the Amaryllis. We're raising the Amaryllis.
Raising the Amaryllis. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Raising the
That's
Amaryllis.
right.
That's what it is. Yeah. So same like,
Yep.
so there might be some historical, or just because Jordan was a horny man that just wanted to
Making it official.
talk about bosoms, and that could have been it too. I don't know. There's definitely evidence for both. He was a well-scholared, well-read man, and he also did like talking about cleavage and things of that nature many times. So who knows? I don't. But anyway, right now she's naked, and she's in a plain stone corridor. She finds clothing on a table and dresses herself pretty quickly. So to go continue. But then by the time she leaves the corridor, she's naked again. Like it's time she put the clothes.
Yeah.
Close.
Just kidding.
Gotcha.
And it keeps happening, I think, throughout the test. Just
Yeah. Their clothes just keep
She
disappearing.
just goes in naked, gets redressed,
Yeah,
goes
and that's
through her trial.
right. I guess that's part of the whole entire trial. I mean, they're trying to, I guess, put her in scenarios where it would distract her or make her feel uncomfortable, to distract her from channeling, to make sure she can stay cool, calm, and channel through any kind of adversary type conditions, adversarial type conditions.
Are the conditions completely controlled by the Aes Sedai that are overseeing this, or is
You
this
get
part
hints
of the?
to that.
Yeah, I know they
Mhm.
have influence, but is it that they have complete control?
I think they set it up like it's
Yeah.
set up like in a way, like almost like an obstacle course. Like
Because I was thinking when I asked that, like, let's say let's grab Avienda from where we are in the other books and throw her in there. Okay, if you make her go through these trials and you're like, all right, how do we add more pressure? Let's make her be naked. Like that isn't
Yeah.
she
gonna
wouldn't
affect your
care.
audio at all.
In
Yeah.
fact, she'd be like, a little more comfortable now, thanks. This is easier. But it's
Mhm.
something included with somebody like Moraine,
Mhm.
especially with some of the people she encounters in there. You know, it adds to the shame and the distraction of
Humiliation.
thinking inwardly about
Shame.
yourself, right? Yeah.
There
So-
seems to be some implication that the sisters are controlling what's happening in the weaves, I think.
Yeah.
During the
Oh yeah,
tests.
100%.
Yeah, I don't
For
know if
sure.
they necessarily control it down to the detail because it is a Tongriel. Like, so whether it's like, so it's different than the accepted test where it's completely comes from within. It definitely
Right.
is heavily influenced.
Right.
And they talk about that at the end of all this. But as she's walking, men appear and they proceed to leer at her and stare at her, trying to make force, goggle, try to force her, and forcing herself to walk calmly until she reaches the 6-point star, and that's where she's going to each one of these 100 tests for the 100 different weaves. And kind of highlights a few of them through this test. So the first one, she has to make a wall of air to keep the men away before going to another 6-point star. She
I
finds
like
herself. Yeah,
how they didn't demonstrate how she's able to think on her feet and how
Mhm.
she's able to maintain multiple weaves at one time. It gives an extra dynamic to it that I don't think I really paid close attention to, because it just seems like, oh, she's weaving and making a fireball, cool.
Yeah.
But what else was she doing during these battles? Is making a fireball and controlling it just one weave, or is it multiple? Like it lends to the fact that there's more to learn about the process of weaving. And then
It's
if you can-
unbelievable.
if you can thread these weaves together, then is there a way to make things happen quicker? And then we know we can tie off a weave and make it like continual, but what are the other implications for that?
Yeah, that's a good question from Wolf Brother. If the Aes Sedai are completely in control of the testing, what does the Tongriel actually do?
It's like a holodeck,
That's a good way to put it.
and the other Aes Sedai
Star
are like
Trek.
able to program
it's
stuff
Vision
in there.
Pro.
But yeah,
Yeah.
horrible question. Obvious
Great
answer.
Have you seen the video of like what if Darth Vader like invaded like the Enterprise on Star Trek, and they trick him into going on a holodeck?
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, gotcha. Anyways, so yeah, Moraine finds herself again in a rough dressed stone corridor. She finds a new set of clothes. She dresses once again and continues on. Once outside, she reaches another 6-point star, begins her second weave. But then suddenly she's entangled in, I guess, like thorn bushes. It talks about spiders. Like, there's a bunch of different like things that are thrown at her. Gets on
It
fire.
seems like it definitely taps in, to answer that question, what does the Tongriel do? It taps into some of the fears that may be unknown.
Okay.
It taps into that nervous system knowledge that triggers the thoughts of, oh my goodness, I know that I heard about this and I have to defend this by doing this.
Yeah.
So it really
And-
is testing her core being.
Yeah, that. And do you truly trust what you've been taught? Because there was certainly a moment, especially with the spiders, where your brain does the math real quick, and she's like, "This is too many, and there's more that I can't see. Like I can't do enough of this." But it doesn't stop her. She keeps going through the process. I can see that. If everybody's going through the same thing, I could see that would be a point where some people, and there's many points in this process, but that's a point where some people might fail because they're like, it's too much. What's the point? And stop.
Sure.
And she's doing it kind of against all odds, sort of thing.
I wonder how this affects other types of people too. Because I mean, I know like if I look at myself, for example, and like look at from that point of view, like I have fears. Everyone has fears. There's fears out there. But I get an adrenaline rush from fear. So like I don't necessarily, I'm still scared, but I like fear. Does that make sense? Like, so like I'm terrified of deep water. I go deep ocean sailing. I'm terrified of sharks. I've elbow dropped a shark off the side of a boat before because I thought it'd be funny.
What you do.
So it's like
sometimes you gotta lean into
still
it.
terrified doing it, but the adrenaline rush was worth it. I don't know. Like,
It sounds like
it's that adrenaline.
So
once
like,
you learned how to
like that,
appreciate and use that adrenaline, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so I don't know how this would affect. Like some people like shut down from fear. Like I run into it.
I don't do the escape thing.
I don't.
Not built that
So
way.
how would an Aes Sedai alter the test if you had a personality like that? Like where it was because you're trying to make it challenging. Someone like me, you throw fears at it. I'm just gonna go head on it because I'm gonna start enjoying it. Like
Well,
in a
you
weird
would
sadistic kind of.
you'd want to come up with a problem where there's obvious ways, like there's an obstacle, a wall's put in front of you. You could go around it, under it, over it, or bust through it. But the real answer is something that involves patience.
Sure.
And stepping back from the moment, or
that'd be tough.
finding another path.
Sheer boredom. That would be my test. It would be sheer boredom.
Do you think everyone that
I'm
goes
done.
through,
I'm done. I can't
do
do
you
it.
think everyone that goes through gets the death head spiders, or do you think like they're like doing
No.
research on each candidate to find their?
It's got to
fears?
be tailored to the individual. To Alan's point, and kind of what I was saying, what you want is the situation where they feel overwhelmed, but they still trust what they've been taught and they don't give up and they keep going. So even when the logic of their brain starts doing the math and says the odds are stacked against them, even if you calculate that this is going to end in you being overrun or defeated, that you keep going. So that could be something very different for each person.
Yeah. And can you drink before starting the test? Because if you can drink before starting the test,
Well,
if you could channel in it, you should be able to get yourself, some white lightning while you're in
Look
there.
at courage up,
my
man.
glass to Ian tonight. He's very dialed in. I've already finished my glass, so
I'm doing small sips.
I'm almost done with my bourbon. I need might have to
you're
take a
very
break.
dialed in tonight. And you've got great answers. Like it's just nice listening to this version of Ian again.
I owe a show. I've been listening to you for a while, Chris.
The 24-hour contemplation is just getting over your hangover.
Yeah.
And then after the
great.
spiders and everything like that, she gets to Trollocs. And she, at this point in her life, she's never seen a Trolloc before. So
But she
I
knew
laughed
right
at
off
this
the
part.
bat. Yeah.
It's kind of like little did she know,
she'd see lots of Trollocs.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about that part. So I will say that as I've been listening to the book, my knowledge of everything that has happened is now way far in the background. And I'm getting the enjoyment of this book as if it were something that I have no prior experience with. Like we know that Moiraine's going to end up with Lan and with Rand and yada, 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 yada. We know she finds him. We know that it takes a whole lot longer than a few months to find him. So, my curiosity is there, but it's no longer when is she going to start this, journey, and when is she going to be told to do it by, when is her friend going to become, I can't say the words. When is her friend going to become Amyrlin? When is she going to be told by the Amyrlin to go for the search? Like, when are all these things going to happen? Like, I know it does happen, but in the back of my mind, it's like, oh no, this is a new book. This is phenomenal. This is great. But
yeah, that's like me in relationships. I don't sit there obsessing over like, when's the other shoe going to drop? When's it going to end? when am I gonna say something stupid? And they're like, "Ew, no, now I don't like you." I just know eventually it's gonna happen. I just enjoy it for what it's worth in that short period of time. And
You know, I was just listening.
then when it
to,
happens, I go, "There it is."
That was
And
it.
I got a bag packed. I'm already ready to go. I got my go bag. It's got a toothbrush in it. Fuck me, right? No, I'm kidding.
Look, I was just listening to a podcast earlier and then almost finished it, where they're talking about dating in general. It's have you heard Diary of a CEO? If you haven't found his podcast, you really need to go listen.
I think somebody's mentioned
And
it to me.
oh, I'm probably mentioned it to you a year ago because I got hooked on this guy, and everything that he does is just phenomenal. But they do state that the psychotic and then the narcissistic individuals like already know, and the first step to being in a relationship as one of those individuals is to know in advance and then warn. That way you can work on it, because the people that are in the relationship with you have to be ready for it. I didn't get warn Chanel. I just hopped right into it, and she's dealing with it now. I
By
got
the way, this is me.
Gotcha. Anyway.
Yeah.
As I tell my wife all the time, she said yes twice. So
Yeah.
I asked her, will
Look,
she
you had
marry
3
me?
kids.
And then at the altar, I asked her, she said, I
You
do.
sure?
So, I mean, you had 2 opportunities to say no. Like,
Yeah. You messed around and had 3 kids. Like,
you messed around. Don't remind me. They're crazy kids.
he's got the cutest kids, though. I keep saying it, but it's true.
They're little devils, though.
I know.
They're at that age where like they're just they're great and they're horrible at the same time. I mean, I love my kids, but
They're gonna take
And
over the world.
angels at the same time.
sure.
Right when you're about to be like super frustrated, they do something or give you a look or you get that random
yeah.
hug or
Well,
I
my
love
daughter's
you,
got it
and you're
figured
just
out.
like, oh man, I'm melting.
Yeah, my daughter has that little like cute smile. Like she'll go out half and hit her brother, like the little baby brother. Like she'll go and like full fledged like tackle him, like he's bawling crying, and like I turn to her and she turns and smiles at me like, yeah, I did it. Like I want to
Toughen up, boy. Toughen up. It's your sister.
Yeah.
He's a toddler. I mean, he's just started walking.
I
Like,
know.
he's-
That's how he feels. Like that other ball drops, it'll be different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, just get it in now, girl, because he's gonna be bigger than you.
Yeah. One
I'll
day
be
he'll
appreciative.
stand back up and think, never again. And then it's on.
That's how Moraine felt after every single test. She didn't remember what was happening after the test, but there was just a little bit of it left inside of her. Just
Mhm.
the tip, just enough to know that it's another test, another test, another
Yeah.
test.
Yeah.
I'm almost done.
She had some mental distractions, but she always, like in the internal thought process, was able to kind of bounce back and remember where she was and what she was doing. Like she got back on track pretty quick.
There were moments where I thought it was possible that she would fail. There were moments where I thought that failure was part of the test. Like I kind of didn't expect her to complete the full 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there needed to be a little bit of humility. Like she gets to 98 and then she fails, and then her reaction to failing would determine her stationing or something. Like I did have that thought, like maybe that's gonna happen.
That's
But
funny.
no.
That crossed my mind for a split second, right when there was some line where she was at the very end and it talked about 99 weaves completed and she had 1 left. And that crossed my mind. I was like, and this is where they hit her with the curveball that nobody expects, and it's the everybody fails thing.
It does
that's
seem
funny.
kind of wild. So like when you think about it, like, yeah, I did this 100 times. Like, does anyone actually ever pass this
Yeah,
test? Right?
That's going to be in the description of the podcast. I should have made it for the YouTube. 99 weaves, but the
Yeah.
anyway,
The one that
Uh,
got away.
the one that got away. So that's how we end this with the Trollocs before we move to the next chapter. So, anything else from chapter 9 before we move to chapter 10?
Nah.
Okay. Cool. So chapter 10 it finishes. So it begins it finishes.
I mean, it always finishes.
Well, for us.
It always. Yes, for us.
So, we're still inside the test. Moraine's almost done with the Aes Sedai test at this point. After 99 weaves, she's incredibly weary, tired, barely able to do anything. And the last part of her test, her father shows up as a distraction.
Pops. But he gives himself away right off the bat. He's wearing clothes they've been out of fashion for years.
Yeah.
If they had him in the new fashion, she might have got trapped in this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor planning.
Easy
Poor
to
planning.
spot.
Yeah.
Maybe that was somebody looking out for her.
So if the Aes Sedai are weaving this all together, that's a detail. If somebody was really trying to get her tripped up, you make it as realistic as possible. But did somebody try and throw her a bone? Give her a
Someone
hint?
overrode the parameters of the test.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Let me make it obvious that this isn't real and it's in the past.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, she stumbles for a little bit. I mean, he says, like, Moraine, you must come with me immediately. It's your mother. She's dying. No time coming out. And, she actually, for a little bit, almost gives in. But she just turns up and says, I love you, Father. Please tell Mother I love her with all my heart, and keeps walking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
She's like, I'm an Aes Sedai.
Yeah. Yay. She did it.
she did it.
Which is funny, though. There was a little bit of self-soothing there. She's got to know. So for her to leave her father and march on, she recognizes that this is not real and still part of the test, and she has something else to do. And yet she still tells her not real father to pass a message on to her mother. A message that's never going to get to her mother through the not real father. So she's really just saying it for her own sake.
Right.
Mhm.
But is
So
anything really real?
But that's just a moment of her. But it's still significant. That's a moment of her recognizing that that's something that she was holding on to, and in that
Sure.
moment she let go of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
And fatigue and a lot of wounds.
Yeah.
But not the worst we've ever seen. I mean, it's pretty bad, but I've seen worse.
I just picture Moraine going through this test and falling out of the final test and just.
Ah! 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 Ah!
That is perfect.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Except there's like Aes Sedai just standing there impatiently waiting for her to finish so they can heal her. Like every time. Every time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do that same reaction at least once a week, and usually with my toe as I kick something barefooted and
Yeah.
literally just.
If you're running into things that consistently, buddy, you might want to get that checked out. Or do you have depth perception issues or?
No, my kids leave stuff laying around. Like, it's
that's
just,
fair. That's
I have kids.
He has
like,
the I don't look down issue.
Yeah, no, it's just like I'm running after one kid, and there's a toy like right there in the way that wasn't there 5 seconds ago, and like it's
That's
literally just yeah.
That's fair.
I have 3 kids. They're 6, 4, and 2. Like, all right, it's
Alan looks like he's about to break down. He's like, I just need a little help, okay? I need a nap. I need
There's
a
stuff
break.
everywhere. You just don't understand.
there is a
Just clean it
minefield
up,
of
and then it's
Legos,
not clean.
like literally. Like, stepping on Lego is the worst, by the way. It is absolutely the worst. Yeah. Except it was an ankle fractured in 3 braces. Yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
The only thing worse
just
than
got-
all of
just
this
got
is
super
cold
serious.
breakfast.
Is what?
Cold
breakfast.
breakfast.
Yeah, cold breakfast can be good. I mean, like cold pizza is great for
Room
breakfast.
temperature pizza.
Yeah, room temperature pizza. Yeah.
You want it soft.
Sure,
Cold pizza,
yeah.
you have to chew too hard, then your
It's
jaw
a-
hurts.
I had a sailing coach, and he told me the Breakfast of Champions. Next morning you wake up, you get that pizza off the counter that's been sitting there overnight. Crack open a warm beer and cold pizza, warm temperature pizza, and it's a great way to get ready for competition.
Yep, and it works. We always sailed better on Sundays.
Sometimes,
In my mind, it felt better.
I know the UMBC guys were the perfectionists on that. University of Maryland, Baltimore campus. Those guys and the Puke and Tack.
Oh yeah,
they would.
They were the first that opened my eyes to, we're all hungover and struggling, but they're like laughing, happy go lucky, listening to music. And I'm like, how are you guys not hungover? They're like, easy. We're still drunk. And I was like, that logic is flawless. You could postpone the hangover by just getting drunk.
There you go.
Genius. They never graduated, but yeah.
I remember in my early 20s, I was doing bow. So in case people don't sail, bow is the front of the boat. And when you're running bow, it's the most physical position on the boat by far. Even more than a grinder, because you're just running around a lot. Grinders just grind. They turn the thing around.
It's a fair statement. Bow's nimble,
running everywhere. And this is when I was a lot younger. Can't do bow anymore.
Dangerous position. Mistakes there, you can fly off the boat or die.
So I think it was like the third day of sailing straight, and I was so hungover that the captain of the boat let me sleep on the front on the way out to the race, and I'm like literally passed out, and we're getting ready for a start. I guess we're late to our start. The next thing I hear is like hoist, so that means the sail's going up, and I hadn't connected the sail yet to the ropes, to the lines that need to be connected. So I wake up from a drunkard stupor, and like literally it's something out of the movies. Like I scramble, like grab the shackles, start trying to clip everything together, and like clip the last one in. Rise, it like explodes out of my hands and the sail fills up, and I'm like, made. And I go back, crack open a beer, and chug it. I was like, all right, let's go.
And even in like a 35 footer, depending on the size jib or whatever that's going up, how many thousands of pounds of pressure on there when it's full of wind in 10 knots?
A lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But no, I clipped it in. It popped out of my hand and went. I was like, that was awesome.
Meant to do that.
Meant to do that. Yeah. That was literally a half a second from being a total disaster and costing probably $1,000 to the owner. But
to somebody else. Yeah.
To somebody else.
That's why I sail other people's boats.
Yeah, actually, they cost a lot more than $1,000 of sales. But anyway, that's neither here.
Yeah, is Maureen naked when she comes out?
I don't know. I think she's only naked in the test. I think she went in clothed, if I remember correctly.
Yes, she went in with like a
shift.
No, she went in.
In my mind, she was naked when she came out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
sure. I mean, it would make sense.
She comes out. She's in the basement. Moraine tells her, or not Moraine. Is it Moraine? Not Moraine, but Moraine.
It's just mere rain.
Moraine. Not Moraine. Just Mir. It's
mere rain.
Then she passed the test. Anaya then goes to heal her. And Moraine turns to Elida and is like, "That was you, wasn't it? I'll get you next time, you dirty rascal."
But again, what Elida did was preparing for the test, but also preparing for the reality that's ahead of her.
Mm-hmm.
The test is still preparation for what's to come. So is she not doing a service for Moraine?
I mean, would Moraine have passed if Elida didn't do what she did?
Or even if she passed and the test itself was easier, does that help Moraine?
Right.
Remember, she needed that. In each one of the steps, there was something she needed to overcome. We talk about the spiders and stuff and continuing to fight against all odds, knowing that, all right, it's against me. Like, I might die here, but I'm going to keep going. That was important. They had to come to that realization and know that they could, and they had that in them. But even at the end, I mentioned she knew she wasn't passing that message to her actual father to give to her mom, but she still said it out loud. And she had to get to that brink. She had to go to that point of being honest with herself that was something she still held on to, and she had to go through the process of letting it go. So
Right.
she can be mad at anybody she wants to for how hard the test was or the preparation for it. But at this point, from the reader perspective, it all seems very necessary.
Yeah. And I can look back at like instructors, coaches, teachers that were harder on me. And at the time, yeah, you're pissed at them and you don't like them, but you look back and it's like you have some admiration and thankful that they were that way. Whether it's boss, I mean, to a certain extent, as long as it helps you grow. If some people are just assholes, that's a different story. But if they actually were an asshole to help you grow, then sure, you look back at them with admiration. I mean,
yeah,
the same sailing coach that told me to eat cold pizza in the morning was the biggest, grumpiest, mean asshole in the entire world. I mean,
everyone.
To
except
everyone,
his cats.
but except his cats. But I mean, when we went to his funeral, like, I mean, just all the stories and everything like that too. Like it was
packed.
It was packed.
Smiles,
so much
tears
respect for that guy.
Yeah,
he was
laughing in love.
He was one of the most hardest guys I've ever met in my entire life. But you grew from what he had to say.
True.
I mean, he would dress you down and make you feel like the small, but yeah. He was good.
Yeah.
At the time, no one liked it, but yeah, looking back, definitely.
He's the only person to ever make me feel bad about winning a race. You got lucky. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Keep it up and no one will remember you. Thanks, Dan. I
You
didn't.
want a race? What do you want? A medal? I mean, we did get a medal.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm over here
I
celebrating.
think of the same thing to Doe Man the first time I coached him. Yeah, I did the exact same thing. Like, because he actually did exactly what you're not supposed to do.
Bang the corner. Yeah.
And he banged the corner and he won the race. And he came back over all smiling. I was like, "You're an idiot. All right, good job with the W, but that was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen anybody do." And like you keep on trying this strategy, you will lose 99% of the time. You won this one.
Yep.
That was stupid. Don't do it again.
So that question remains to be answered, and I'm curious. I don't really have a prediction per se. I think I hope that at least in this book, Elida is doing this not for personal gain or not for really trying to break Moiraine, but maybe it's intentionally trying to make it so impossibly hard because maybe she knows what's coming in the world or has an inkling of it, and it's like, the sisters we have fighting by my side, like they've got to be legit. I don't want anybody that is a halfway Aes Sedai or has never really been tested.
Right.
I don't want to go into a street fight with a bunch of dudes that have never been punched in the fucking ear.
Yeah.
If it's about the throwdown, I don't care how much you lift. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care. Dude, I know a bunch of 120-pound scrappy dudes that have been in plenty of fights that I would take with me over.
Yeah. What's the Mike Tyson quote? It's like everyone has a plan to get punched in the mouth.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
That first time you get rocked, everything comes undone. And the moment you freeze to go, what was that? Guess what? Here comes another.
Everyone has a good plan to get punched in the mouth, and you're like, that plan goes out the window completely.
So what? So she tried to punch Moiraine in the mouth right now when it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad strategy.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Sometimes it's tough love. So Moiraine's told to spend the night in prayer and contemplation. That she'll be raised to Aes Sedai the next day to pick your Aja and that kind of stuff. And she goes back to the Scepter quarters and she learns from Shuriam and Morel, who are also accepted at this point, that Siuan had been summoned to her test. So
okay, so I have to ask this question. I hope you're in a position to be able to answer. Do we get a chapter with better details of Swan's test?
No.
Oh, come on, Chris. I'm trying to read their faces. Raj is not giving anything away.
No, what I want to know, Raj, is how often do you think about the way Moiraine came back in the...
After she died in book 5?
No,
No,
I'm talking
when
about
she came back. Yeah.
in
Oh,
book
yeah, yeah,
11.
How did that
Book
make
11.
you feel?
What book's that? It's Crossroads. She's come back. Crossroads Twilight.
Yeah, at the crossroads is where she comes
At the
back.
crossroads. Okay.
Yeah.
See you at the crossroads.
Crossroads.
You won't be lonely. You know I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all.
Dude, it's been a lot. It's been a long time. It's been a lot of books. We're over halfway through this series. Like, she's been not in this books longer than she was in the books at this
I'm
point.
not giving up on her.
We're to that point now. in
Especially
the
now that I
series.
get to see her as a child, I'm not giving up.
We've read through 10 books. She's in the first 5. So literally half of what I know. We've read through
She'll
9
be in the
books.
last.
Okay,
She'll be in
so
half of the last.
Chris, I think she's coming back in like really early in the next book.
Yep.
yeah, book 11 is Knife of Dreams. I'm sorry.
If Lanfur can come back,
Oh, Lanfur, but the dark one brought her back.
well, the dark one might do. Nah,
Are we ready to get Dark Moraine? Darth Moraine.
no, I won't go that far.
That'd be
Okay.
kind of cool.
Would be interesting. What do you think, Raj?
Moraine who?
How would you describe her return?
Yeah,
Is it like Gandalf the
Epic.
White? Or is it like, Anakin getting his legs cut
I'm
off?
still
And
thinking
then...
of the testing. So like, it's not even thinking about the testing.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
We got to get Tree back on the show so I can ask questions and get answers from her facial
Yeah.
expressions.
Or
Tree says
from
the right thing.
from the
but her
level
face-
of red.
Her face gives it away.
Everything else.
Next time she's gonna come in a mask.
Yeah. Indeed.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't have my mask close by. I usually have my handful of props, but yeah. Anyway, so Moraine waits for Swan. I'm not going to answer your question about the Swan testing. Raffo.
Is it in bits and pieces here and there referenced, or like I would like a legit chapter like we just had, 2 chapters like we just had of Swan's test,
That would be nice.
or somebody so we could compare and answer these questions. Like, is it similar? Is it the same? Like, do they try to at least put them through the same mental challenges?
That you might get, but
Okay.
Here's my thing. We're never gonna get it completely.
never gonna get
especially 'cause we want it.
Never gonna get
Which means short is like, here's the list of things the reader's going to want. So I got to make sure to never touch on that in detail. We'll just hint at it in a very questionable way that they'll talk about this for years and have ridiculous theories about it. Check.
check.
But we are now going to be capable of comparing what Moraine went through to what Elaine and
Well, they didn't go through anything. They didn't go through any test. They just
Have
got
it.
raised.
But they
But
might, well,
will.
as of right now, it's pending. Eventually they will be properly
eventually
raised.
because I have a feeling that
Do you think
At
Egwene
some-
Armelin is going to be subjected as the Armelin?
I have a
to-
feeling that at some point they're going to end up back in the White Tower for whatever reason. And
Well, they're marching there right now.
Yeah,
Well, we know they're
so
going to be.
a part of me thinks that somebody's going to betray them, or for the greater good of the White Tower, all of them are going to betray them. Like, or Rand's going to make some type of deal with Elida, and then they end up becoming, the young Padawans again. Like, something's going to happen so that they're under Elida. Like,
Respectfully
be
disagree.
it would be too easy, and the books would be a lot shorter if that wasn't going to be the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see.
Perchance.
Yeah. So also this is miscellaneous. So unlike Nynaeve's test, it's a little side note. The Aes Sedai vote on whether she passed or not. They don't vote. They just say she, okay. I think that's something else. Sorry, reading quotes from something else. Let's see, and then let's see. Back to the basement room. Where are my notes? Should be raised. Oh yeah. So waiting for Swan. That's where we are. Swan returns eventually. She said she's passed.
A little peeved herself. Don't they have an
Mhm.
exchange about Elida?
Yeah.
When
That we'll,
Yeah.
we'll get. I
wasn't
was,
there
I
a
was about
little
to get to
being
that.
miffed about? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt your show, Alan. Let me mute myself. You tell me. I'll raise my hand. You let me know when I can be called on.
Yes. So we get there right now. So they're peeved about Elida. Said, let's put some ice in her bed.
Contemplation.
Man, I was proud of
means
myself for
Franks.
I want to
remembering
know
the
if they actually
storyline a little
did
bit.
it.
Oh yeah. Did they actually do it?
I think they did. She
Yeah.
does glare at them later.
Yeah.
The chapter symbols, mice. They had to have done it, right?
You know, this already started by the time I was in college, but like the whole prank war thing, you know, when I
Those
was
were epic.
young, like it was a way of life. I heard stories about pranks my dad and his cousins did and everything. And then we would do it among, you know, my siblings and cousins in the, you know, summer vacations and stuff like that. And even by the time I got to college, like it was hard for me to recruit other people to get in on it because they were like, but that's just me. And I'm like, no, it's mean and funny. Like you gotta appreciate the two together. Anyways, but people don't really.
Now you guys had some good prank wars.
Oh
Gosh.
yeah, I had some great ones.
Yeah.
My favorite was they made the mistake of recruiting me to like there was a whole bunch of people that were gonna streak the Sunken Gardens together. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then they were like, and we're gonna take a picture. And I'm like, also cool. Let me get front row. And they're like, and it's gonna be part of this article in the Dog Street Journal where we talk about XYZ. I don't remember what it was. I just remember hearing the topic and going, no, I don't want to be a part of that. Not only do I not want to be a part of that, but I don't even want that story to exist. So we got some fishing line, got some 50-pound tests and running across the Sunken Gardens. And then we got water balloons and filled them with water and with a turkey baster, or not a turkey baster, like the medicine dropper thing.
Yeah.
We injected some fun smelling stuff like vinegar and mustard and
Yeah.
whatever else we could get into them. And we tripped everybody up and pelted them with the sticky water balloons. And the picture still made the Wall Street Journal, but instead of writing the article
Street
that they
Journal.
wanted, Dog Street Journal. Yeah, Dog
not Wall
Street.
Street. It was not that.
All right.
nice.
No, it wasn't that big. Local college publication. But the article came about, was really about me, just not by name, about who done it, you know? Somebody ruined this happy moment of all these people coming together for a good cause. That made me feel good about myself. They were so mad.
The carp. The carp.
Yeah, we talked about that one. The carp is good.
Carp was good.
Yeah.
The
If a fish barely fits when it recently passed away, if it barely fits going into a small cavity, when they die, they swell up, and then you can't get them out.
Yeah.
In case you were wondering.
Did Doman put mayonnaise in your bed?
Oh, you probably. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All sorts of goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah, pranks are great. I didn't see anything wrong with this. I thought it was appropriate. I also like that. So they recognize that there's a rites of passage coming up, and once they cross that transition, there's a certain amount of childishness that they have to leave behind, and they're fully committed to that.
Sure.
But they're also embracing that period of life that they're in right now, and they're like, and yet we have one more day.
Yeah. Still do it for one more time.
So this
One
last
One
opportunity.
last break.
Celebrate. Yeah. Cool. Anything else from the test and all this chapters before we move to chapter 11?
No, they're really cut and dry chapters.
Yeah.
The last two.
Ends. Well,
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I'm just making up stuff to talk about tonight. So
phenomenal listening.
That's
This
great.
time.
Chapter
Roger's like,
11.
what have I walked into? There's no notes for this. There's no way to prepare for this.
We appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Chapter 11.
Chapter 11. Just before dawn.
I'll tell you, I do a lot just before dawn.
No. I try to wake up. I try.
So I go to the other office,
I hate waking up before dawn.
the turlet.
What do you say, Raj?
The months
you
of
guys
waking
work
up
on-
and it's
before
still dark
dawn?
out. It's not cool.
Yeah, it's difficult, but it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
worthwhile.
Unless my kids wake me up that early, I don't try to get up that early. I don't try to.
Yeah, if it's the weekend and the kids are involved, I'm a-okay with it, actually. If it's to get up and do my morning routine and go to work and get in my car and it still be dark out,
Yeah.
not cool.
I don't know.
But-
I like my job.
I like your job too. I can't see a path to doing it, but if I could find a way back to it, I would.
Like,
but
I want to get to the office as early as possible because I'm like, I like what I do. I want to be there, but it has
Yeah.
frustrating days. Like today when I spent over an hour on hold. But it's it happens.
I spent 3 hours on hold. Why, as an employee, should I have to spend
Dude.
3 hours on hold?
Today, I called a third-party company to get an answer on something, and I spent half an hour waiting, and finally just hit the number one where it's like request callback, and I did that, and then did some other tasks while waiting for the phone to ring. It did it, so I started making other phone calls because I had other people I needed to call, and then as I'm on the phone with someone else, I get an email pop up. You just got a voicemail. I was like, fuck. So I was like, they call me back while I was on the other line. So then I called them back again,
Of
waited half
course.
an hour again, no one answered, wait for a call back. And then my phone's ringing off the hook. I was like, unless it's that number, I'm not answering it. I'm not going to answer. So I was like so frustrated. I was like, I just wasted like a good portion of my day because you guys like,
see, that's no offense. That's just elementary school juvenile frustration. Remember, I work for the government.
oh yeah.
Okay. And well, I still argue this a bit about level of intelligence, but I can at least admit to myself and others that I'm slightly above average in intelligence. I think it's a fair statement. And when I got hired for the job I'm in right now, it was because there was a very specific problem and I had a very specific skill set. And I went in there and I talked to all the different players and all the different sections and what their processes were. And I saw the disconnects. And literally, I went into the first meeting and I laid it out thinking that they would care. And I was like, here's where I identified the problems. These are where we need to improve our processes and communication. This is broke. We need to change that, modify this, da 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 da. Let's do it. And they're all like, that's dumb. That we can't do that. That doesn't make sense. So they put together a tiger team of all these higher ups and all the sections that get together twice a week for months. Do you know after about 4 months of them doing that, what the end result was, what the recommendations were?
What you
Pretty
told
much
me 4 months
everything
ago.
I fucking said on day one.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry you were on hold, Alan. And you missed a little beepy beepy with somebody coming in with answers for you. Someone was calling you with the answers and you're upset.
Emotional damage.
Yeah. Anyways, I do feel I'm not trying to downplay your frustrations. That was a rough day.
That's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'll get over it.
I have at least there's at least somebody out there who works for the government, understands what I'm talking about. Yes.
the government.
Yeah.
Dealing with them is always a pain in the ass. I don't work for them, but whenever I have to deal with them, it is. I feel the pain from the other side of it, of being frustrated.
I don't give out my number and I keep it disconnected when I'm at work. But if I didn't and you had my number and you called me, like I would get stuff done for you.
Yeah.
You just can't reach me because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. No, well, I've had to
Government. The good ones are unavailable.
I mean, I'm not going to say too much, but there is one particular office I have that is in a government building. And you know which one it is. And
yeah.
I see it to the nth degree in that facility.
There are good individuals that do good stuff there.
There are.
Processes as a whole make no sense.
There are. But as a whole, it's like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Anyways, chapter 11, just before dawn. So before dawn, 7 Aes Sedai, one from each Aja, come to Moraine and Swan in their respective rooms to talk about, their Ajas. And yeah, I guess it's just like the fraternity or sorority thing, like the pledge week, where they're going around like, you should join our fraternity or sorority. This is why. Yes, no.
I can't relate. So
No, neither can I. I went to
I
a PWI and
Sounds like a thing that happens.
yeah.
I've seen from the outside looking in that whole process.
Outside looking in.
I never joined.
In fact, right off the bat, I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I think I went to one party and all my friends were like, this is great. We could find buddies and do stuff. And I was like, I mean, I already do that. Like,
to be fair, I joined the track team, and then anybody else that came in that looked like they might be athletic, I snatched them and brought them in.
So what I did do
sports was different.
I started the sailing team with some friends. We took over Thursdays as the party night because Fridays and Saturdays were frats and sorority parties. We took over the Thursday night parties, and we definitely recruited, not just for sailors, but we recruited socially. So in a way, I put my own together, but it was like, join us, join us, join us. And every single one, I was like, no, just did my own. So if Moraine and Swan, they think they're cool, busting out, going, we're blues together, holding hands, but you're still conforming.
Yeah.
It'd have been cool if they were like, we're going to be the pink daisies. Woo. Like, there is no pink daisies. And like, there is now. Boom.
Yeah. So you got to it. They go down to the room where all the sitters are there, and Moraine and Swan choose their Aja. Blue.
Together.
Yep.
Were they actually holding hands, or did I make that up? Because
Yeah.
it felt like they were holding hands.
They were holding hands.
I mean, that's so freaking cute.
They're blue. Abu-ji-abu-da.
Yeah.
So after a bit of ritual talk, which Moraine thinks about it like that this is way too much information, but they have to swear the 3 oaths, and we get a first-hand account of what that's like. Because I don't think we've gotten that to this point. We've heard about 3 oaths, obviously, but they've hinted to it and talked about it, but not it happening.
Yeah, we saw some on the show.
On the show, yeah.
And this isn't too far off.
Yeah.
You know, for different reasons. We saw it for her getting booted out.
Yeah.
Not really getting raised, but it felt the same.
I think it was like the same, like channeling spirit into the Ultron and other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the weave kind of locks it in. That's kind of cool.
Why you got pat at it.
Get that tightness, get the Botox from the. Yeah.
Did I say this in previous episodes that like I had hopes maybe that something happened where Moraine and Swan didn't actually take the oath rod?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't really see how they could get away with that in their time, but I guess this mixed all that. I still think that'd have been neat if somehow one of them dodged it. And then the storyline is that's how they were able to sneakily do what they did.
Yeah. No.
But whatever.
No.
And also, let me bring back worries about this oath rod that I brought up many books ago. Remember, they use these things thinking they know everything that they do or enough of what they do that it's safe. But the oath rod itself might be part of the problem or the major source of the problem within the White Tower. Is it just locking them into these oaths? Or maybe the way the oaths are worded themselves restrain them in such a way that prevent them from doing that which they must do? No, I just don't like. I mean, I'm from America, man. You know, I like freedom, man.
No, sir, I just don't like it. No,
Yeah,
no,
man.
Sir. No, sir, I just don't like it.
Yeah, you try and tell me. Trying to tell me you honest because you tell the truth, because if you don't tell the truth, something bad gonna happen like immediately, like something prevent you. You ain't honest. You just bound up. Boy, but if you able to lie, if you can lie and you damn good at it, but you choose not to, now you're an honest person. You know what I'm saying? Your rod didn't make you honest.
I just heard Alabama talk.
Your rod
there.
made you a liar. White lightning.
Anyways,
Except
So
this is red wine. It's not the same as moonshine. so.
as moonshine.
Anyways,
not the
use
same.
your imagination.
Some good old shine. Preach. Someone said preach. There you go. So yeah. So after taking the shawls, all the blue sitters come to the room and welcome them. Edith, one of the sitters, charges Leanne Sharif and Rafaela Sindal, two non-sitters, of the task of escorting Moraine and Suan to the blue quarters where they can find their new rooms. When they arrive, they find every blue sister currently in Tarvalon wrapped in their shawls and lining the main quarter, kind of like quarter, just like yay.
I pictured them
And there's
all with like blue boas and just kind of.
Yeah, and like there's certain days of the month you have to wear all blue and like all these different rules and stuff like that. Like it's
I saw like that moment in Harry Potter when they walked in through the commons, and it's like
I feel like that's Spirit Week. You know, like they have Spirit Week and they have all these different things that you have to do, like part of the sorority. Like it's very very reminiscent of that. That's how I read it at least. Like, and that's how we kind of end this chapter.
Yeah,
They're
they're very short.
Yeah, they were
with
fast.
little impact.
Yeah.
Even the last chapter is like, oh, they learn a secret, and they get assigned a job. The end.
Yeah, they.
And here's land for 5 seconds. Yeah.
It's interesting though, but like when they huddled with the Blues, they got a little bit of insight about the hierarchy within the Blues and who's really leading things and this, that, and the other. But it felt like maybe in the moment being caught up in it, like if you were Moraine or Swan, you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's a huge revelation. But really the Blues are only giving them just a tiny crumb.
Yeah.
And even within the Blues, there's more like complexity to the relationships and everything. So
Yeah.
They're being spoon fed the blue business.
Yeah, definitely. Any questions, Raj? Do you have anything else for them? Anything you want to add, or?
No, I think it's good. I think must be like really frustrating. I don't know if you're like the gray or white sitter as you go, and every time it's like, oh,
No one chooses
not
you
choosing
now.
us again. Time to leave.
Yeah.
You gotta come every time and then leave. And
That one kid in dodgeball just never gets chosen. It's
yeah.
like, after a while,
Well,
it kind of
so-
wears down.
Oh,
you.
they chose the green again. Oh well, maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
I would think some of the Ajas, well, that might be frustrating. I think it'd also be worse to get somebody in that group that just doesn't have the personality to do what your mission really is. And so the whites and grays might kind of fall in that. The grays for sure fall in that. I think the Browns would take anybody. I think the Browns don't care how you learn as long as you're into learning somehow. And then even if you're like not into learning, they would be like, well, we need to be able to study a Brown that's not into learning. So this is an anomaly that we can study. So they'd be happy to have that just because it's a different type of Brown, you know?
Yeah. I think that happens everywhere too, like where you'll have people that you don't know why they're there, if that makes sense. Like even in jobs, you'll find people like, why'd you decide to do this with your life? Like you do not have the personality for this type of job at all. Like, but here you are. Like I found that in everywhere I've ever worked. You'll find people that just and they don't do well.
Why are you here?
Yeah, why are you here?
And not even that you have to fit a specific mold, because you also run into certain people in certain careers that are not your typical, but then you're like pleasantly surprised, like, oh,
yeah.
And they're still getting it. And you're like, neat. Not everybody can do it your way, but you're making it work. But there's definitely those that you're like,
yeah, why?
Because it is the way it is.
Yeah.
It's
I'm a pacifist. I will join the military. Like you weren't drafted. Why are you?
Although we have a Medal of Honor winner that did that.
We do. But
yep.
Why?
Hacksaw Ridge.
To make that money.
make
Yeah.
that money. I guess.
If you haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge,
Don't spoil it for me.
no. The movie itself is. Now I'm very judgmental on military movies, like and
As
how
you
they
should
move
be.
and how they do their attacks, how they reload everything, and
As you should.
so
be.
there's inconsistencies with this one. So it's not as like perfectly done as like Band of Brothers or what is it, Tears of the Sun or We Were Soldiers. Those type of movies, they got all the details right.
Mhm.
But the storyline is mostly true, definitely based off a true story, and the story itself is pretty good. Gotta watch it.
So you're telling me Rambo is not accurate?
All right. So one of the tests that I do that I don't even realize that I do, but everybody does it that's spent enough time on the range with enough different weapon systems, is you identify the weapon by sound or by sight, and then you start counting. And once they've shot for long enough without reloading, you're like, bullshit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
he ran out of ammunition 20 minutes ago. How is this scene still going on? Oh, you're telling me he reloaded 6 times? Do you know how heavy that ammo would be? And by the way, that doesn't fit in his pocket.
No.
But so I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but yeah, Rambo's a little unrealistic,
A little bit.
but it's
Just a little
still
bit.
entertaining.
Chapter 12, entering home. And
They made it
Moraine's
home.
point of view again, at least for the first part. So once in the blue quarters, every blue sister currently in Tarvalon welcomes Moraine and so on. Edith tells Cabarina to show them to their new rooms and wishes to speak to him later. And they learned actually that Edith is the first selector, who's the head of. So each one of these Ajas had these cool names. She's the first selector.
They're all different in each other, I think, right? Or something.
Yeah, all different
Anyway.
Ajas have different, like the heads are all different, like these different names. But yeah. After they're shown to the rooms, Moraine quickly changes out of her Aes Sedai dress because, like, screw these threads. I got the new stuff.
The Pink Daisies have a Pickle Rick who, on the down low, runs things.
Yeah.
In
Exactly.
case you were wondering.
Mhm.
In case you're interested in joining, contact me directly.
Gotcha.
Okay.
She dons her new wardrobe and
Yeah.
leaves
some new
breakfast
threads.
alone and goes out and goes to learn information.
Yeah.
Skipping breakfast. I
Yeah.
don't know about that.
Rookie mistake.
Not if you know you got a big day ahead of you.
Yeah.
Never,
At least put some nuts in your pocket.
Yeah.
Huh.
At least grab some nuts on your way out, Moraine. Jeez.
Anyway, so
Because I mean, even if you're not hungry, if you're a little anxious, you can
That's
just
why
kind
she
of
got
like
land.
hustle them around. You know,
That's why she got land.
you just kind of shake them up.
yeah.
You know?
And then she gets explained about the order of how rank is determined within the Aes Sedai. It's not based on age, it's based on power.
Oh yeah, she
And-
did. Like that was an instant focus, which was like,
Mhm.
oh, I know I'm ranked almost as high as this person, and in 3 years I'll be ranked higher than this person, and within 5 years I'll be right there with that other person. And she's
Mhm.
already sizing people up.
Oh yeah, which is frowned upon before your Aes Sedai. Once you're Aes Sedai, it's very, very much encouraged, expected. Yeah,
I completely forgot. I was like, they don't even tell you this is the way of things until after you become Aes Sedai. It seems like
right.
vital information.
Might be
I'd
good
love
to know ahead of
beforehand.
time.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're joining and you're very low in power, and then you find out, oh, by the way, now that you're Aes Sedai, you're always going to be like,
You always
At
should be
the
low
bottom,
end. Yeah,
sorry.
bottom. Sorry.
When if you think of how, like, even you talk about the Pope ritual of cupping the balls is similar to like the Amaryllis ritual of prove that you're a female sort of thing.
Mhm.
Jordan has this way of like kind of flipping the stereotypes. I would say in the guy world, and I think this is still true, even though we're trying to change it. There's like there's certainly a hierarchy within groups of all ages that is based off of size, height.
Yep.
Like Chris, don't take this the wrong way. I mean it well, in any good way you can think about it. But like when you walk into a room, you command that room, whether you want to or not. And you could be the most passive, please don't look at me, please don't. People are looking at you, and they're probably, without thinking about it, most guys at least, following your lead.
When I was at the gym on Tuesday, I go in and my program right now is 2 sets of 20-ish. And then like,
But how much weight you putting up?
5 to 6, very little. I'm doing 5 to 6,
Which is more than me, but
well, 2 sets of 20. And so I go in like I said, 2 sets is relatives. Like I do lat pull down, and I do 3 different variations of lat pull down because I do close grip, mid grip, wide grip. So that's 60 reps, and I do that.
You get
2
good work in
go-arounds.
there.
Yeah, and so I'm doing 10 to 20% of my max. So like my max on that is the whole stack, which at my
The whole stack.
the max is everything. Hey, Chuck Norris, how many push-ups can you do? All of them.
My max.
at my gym that's like 395. So
for your
I can
lats,
get
pull
at least
downs.
2
Okay.
times. Yeah, I can just. I mean, I'm
I'm not
400, so to do a
shape,
pull up,
I
I've got to
do
be able to do.
120, guys.
Yeah.
I guess good point. You're a big dude.
So like I jump on there and I like put 50 pounds on, and I'm like 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, and then I get up, and then of course I'm doing 2 sets of 20 with curls. I'm doing 3, well, I actually did 4 different variations of curls, and so 10% of my max. So I'm grabbing 10-pound dumbbells, and I'm sitting here doing it. And you see this guy kind of walk
I
up.
can hang with that. That's fair.
Yeah. He walks up, like this guy walks over to his bros, and like I can hear him giggling, and I see him kind of cut his eye at me, and he puffs his chest out, and like I'm the target. And I'm like,
You've made yourself look weak.
I made myself.
They saw
look
an
weak.
opportunity.
They saw an opportunity. So I go over to Hammer Strength Machines, and I'm, same deal, still working on back bicep exercises. They have the high lat pull from the Hammer Strength machine, right? And on that, I typically do about 495. And so I put, at this point, like I'm putting.
All right, we're
I'm
back to
putting-
not being able to relate again.
Well,
That
putting-
happened real quick. We got here and then boop, right back out.
so I put 25s on each side, and I'm just sitting here just doing nice, easy, steady reps. And so an even smaller guy comes by, and he stands in front of the machine. Like, this is what pissed me off for a moment. He stands in front of the machine, and he like puffs his chest out, and he's like staring at me. And I look at him, and he looks at me, and he kind of like gives me this mean mug. And I'm like, do you want the machine? He's like, well, I mean, you're not really doing nothing. I was like, oh, you can work in. And he's like, oh. He's like, well, I was like, yeah, just go ahead and work in. So he sits down, and he does 20 reps of the 25 like I did. And so then I'm like, okay, what do you want to do next? Like, are you staying here? Are you going up? Just let me know whatever you want to do. He's like, yeah, man, put 45s on. I'm like, okay. So I don't take the 25s off. I put 45s on top of the 25.
So this is where we're going.
So, and in the meantime, the bros that were over there giggling and laughing at me now come over to the same side I'm on, and they get on a different machine. They're doing a chest press machine. So then, like, I throw 45s on top of the 25s, and he gives me this look, and I sit down, and just a nice, calm, smooth set of 20. And he like has this look, and then he sits down on it, and he like busts out 20. And I'm like, you go. I'm like, that's awesome. And he starts to pick up his bag. I'm like, all right, next set. And I sit down and do another 20. And he's like, and you can see the gym bros kind of looking over. So he sits down and he knocks out 14. And then he like kind of stares at me like, one more set. We bust out another set of 20. He's like, so that he sits down and he busts 6 of them out. I'm like, dude, I think you had 2 more in you at least. And so I make him sit back down, and I guide him down with it. In the meantime, you know, the bro that was sticking his chest out earlier comes over because there's 2 more 45s sitting there. And he like, yo, can I get these 45s? And he's got, you know, 45s on the chest press already. So he's going up by 45 on each side again. So he grabs the 45 and he's going to struggle over. So I see him. I tell the guy, hold on. And I grab the other 45 by 3 fingers, lift it up this way, and then drop it onto his thing. He's like, just bust out laughing. He's like, I knew you were just fucking with. I knew you were just messing with us. I knew you're just strongest. Like, goes off. He's like, and then everybody around is just dying. And he looks at me, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, 10%. He's like, but you were just doing that 20 times. Yeah, I'm just doing 10%, man. I just need a tone.
Again, I'm a somewhat intelligent person. I can recognize the stuff going on, but even still, like the instinct of how we size each other up. I was on a butterfly machine, lighter weight, like 90 pounds, but intentionally going very slow in, holding for 10 seconds, and then a very slow out. And I was getting eyeballed by somebody that was waiting that kind of did an eye roll, like, oh, this weak motherfucker. And I still, even recognizing this, felt obligated to go, okay, 150. Slam them, right? All right. So all that to say, y'all that have been listening to this for a while, y'all might have gotten bored in this weightlifting conversation a little bit. I was enthralled, but it was only sizing up strength. We know Chris is an intelligent dude. Like, I feel like I'm a little bit, we contribute to society in all different ways. We have all these things outside of our physical strength that actually matter and how we could contribute and what our power and influence is. But when you get in those situations, dudes don't fucking care. It's how do you stack up?
Exactly.
Right. And so I think it's funny. All that to say, 30 minutes later, it's interesting how Jordan like initially paints a certain amount of sophistication when it comes to
Aes Sedai.
the Aes Sedai, and you would think like wisdom and knowledge would be very important, and generally that comes with age. And yes, age plays a role, but also no, like whoever the baddest motherfucker is, unless somebody else is like officially appointed in a role over them, they got the room.
Exactly.
And that's basic level instinct shit that I still do in the gym.
I love taking what you deadlift with and hang clinging with it.
So legs and back, I'm still terrified to get into. So I'm weak there.
Well, and I understand that. I wouldn't.
On that note, when I did the 90-pound dumbbells, that's when I realized I need to get back into legs, because going from the rack to the bench, my legs were shaking like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
and then I put them up no problem, and I'm like, guess I got to start doing legs now.
I'll stick to my 12-ounce curls, and
So and you know, it's really funny going like, I'm going to continue down this tangent because I'm on it now. Again, Dario CEO. Just so the guy that he has on now is actually the guy that like runs Tinder.
Okay.
And he said, even now in today's society, the number one indicator of what women or men look at is still like the 70-30 ratio. And that is a huge
symmetry.
And symmetry. But that's a huge, and symmetry didn't even come up. It's just the 70-30 ratio is a huge determinant. Like, symmetry is not a thing. Like, no matter how
people
much,
okay with the paper bag special.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes back all the way back down to biological desire. And base so instincts. can you protect me? Can you provide for me? And not monetarily, but you know, the mind is doing what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And so
those background processes will fuck you up when you're trying to be civilized and cultured and everything.
The smartest people still get the short end of the stick if they're not also, I'm not even gonna say fit, but built to that golden standard.
So I mean, I'm 5'7", and I'm taking a class right now in contracting, and we're on the second day. And in the first day, you know, we're having kind of open discussion in class, and people are talking about stuff where again, I could thin slice pretty well, and I kind of know what the best answer is, at least in my mind.
Yeah.
And in the first day, I'm trying to find that lull in the conversation to interject or whatever. And then some, like, and many times I start to talk and somebody talks over me and everything. It wasn't until today that I was like, fuck it, they all dumb. I'm just going to say my piece. And I just spoke loudly over everybody, and it got quiet because one, they were like, little man has something to say. But then two,
It makes sense.
they digested it and they were like, oh shit, that's good. You
I think
know?
we lost some
And
order.
then after that, it was easier for me to get in a conversation. But the initial thought process was like, I didn't have easy access to the conversation just because of my physical presence.
Yeah.
It wasn't until my intellectual presence was made known that they welcomed it. But you know who the loudest guy was on the first day that everybody let talk? The biggest
The
dude in
big
the room.
guy. Uh-huh.
And no offense, this isn't always the case, but he was not the smartest.
Of course not.
I thought Raj, I thought you just left because you're like, I'm done with this conversation.
No, I was,
Raj adjusted his
Honestly,
camera to
impression
show
he
how
made,
wide
but
his
it was
shoulders
just
were.
like, my whole screen, everything was frozen here. I had to just
Okay.
come back.
Let's get back to the book. 'cause
I thought
after
Chris
all
made such a good
this-
point that you were like,
But I was absolutely, yeah. No, I was
Yeah.
listening to the whole thing.
He adjusted
So-
the camera so you could see how wide his shoulders are. He's like, ladies.
So after all of this, they talk about power. They make their ways back to the rooms. Another Aes Sedai. Is it? I can't pronounce the names right, but Satila.
Sure.
Sure.
it's an S1, so I've made a point.
No,
to
it's a
pay
C
attention
one.
to
It.
it.
might be
Oh.
Catella,
But it's pronounced with the S sound, buddy. So I wrote it off.
yeah, stops them. And apparently during the testing, Swan had a really good ability at puzzles. So they're like, yeah, so Swan, you're gonna be assigned to the blue Aja's eyes and ears. And Swan's like,
Yeah.
that's not what I want to do. But this is kind of a little bit.
It was
obviously
more like
foreshadowing.
you're going to be the errand girl for the person that's in charge of the eyes and ears.
Yeah. And work for deciphering reports and things like that.
I knew
But the
in my
weaves,
mind.
not a bad spot to be.
No,
No.
this ain't the wheel. This is the Amerlin.
Let's get
She
to it.
already knew what their plan was. She knew, okay, their plan is to get out of here as quick as they can and go find the dragon. So I'm going to give them busy work to make sure that they get it together before I actually allow them to go out.
And again, also the Amerlin's plan. Remember, what actually happened was not shared with everybody. That's still a very close secret among very few people.
Correct. So she's got to keep her eyes on them because she has to really see if she can trust them.
Oh, no, she has to trust them because they're already in the inn.
Yeah.
So she
well,
needs to use them. So they need to be in a position to be useful. That's what
That
that's what
part,
I think.
yeah.
Not to
Yeah.
sorry if that
part
was
too.
harsh, but
No, but I'm with you. I agree. 100%.
And Moraine is also given a job. She's in charge of distributing the bounty.
There
Of
you
course,
go.
she doesn't want to do this because she doesn't want to leave the tower. Yeah. And she tells Swan that she's afraid the Hall just wants to put her on the throne of Kyrian. And they decide together they'll find a way out. We'll work together and get out of here.
Plus, they like each other.
little did they know.
Little did they know. And then we switch to land. So anything for this before we go to land the man?
No, Alan, I don't know why you're delaying this. Let's go straight to
I
land.
am just
Land.
waiting for Lan to meet up with Moraine and to figure out how that interaction started. I think it was really
I'm
rough.
most excited about that. I want
Yeah.
that now. Like
Yeah.
all of this has been good, but
But and I think that's why I've enjoyed the book so much is that anticipation. And it has been like a fresh story. It's been a good break. Alan, I don't know if you actually made the decision to put this book in here or somebody suggested it, but it
I
was a
did.
good break.
it's a good spot.
it was a great spot
Yeah.
for it.
I'm actually okay if their first meet is just totally awkward and
Oh, it's
weird,
gonna
and
be-
it needs to be. The more effed up it is, the better, because we know where it
Correct.
ends up,
Yes.
and it's very beautiful. So
Yeah.
let it be a disaster.
Like she's
in the
gonna be a
beginning.
total brat, and he's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I can't stand you."
And let him be a little bit of an a-hole too, with a chip on
Well,
his shoulder.
yeah, that.
Yeah.
Let him
"Oh
be
my
holding
God,
on
I
to some
can't
shit
stand
that's
you."
making him, less than he can be. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
So-
ready for it.
switch back to land. There, he's thinking about the Aiel war and how the Aiel are retreating back to the Aiel Waste. And I think one of the guys he's with is like, "Is that the spine of the world?" He's like, "No, it's just Kinslayer's dagger. Like the spine's like 10 times bigger than that. That's not that's not a mountain. This is a mountain. That's not a knife."
Somebody looking at the Appalachia going, "Is that the Rockies?" No.
No,
No. It used to be a billion years ago, but no.
it's always
Not
funny
now.
when someone from the West Coast comes out to the East Coast for the first time. Like my freshman year in college, I went to Virginia Tech, and one of the girls that was in the dorm I lived in, she was from Nevada, and she didn't actually tour. She just got accepted and decided to go. So her first time coming to Virginia in the Appalachian Mountains was when she got off she got the plane, and one of the first things she asked in the camp is like, "So where are the mountains?" Like,
Yeah,
I was
they're-
like, we're in them. They're like, "These are hills." Like, no,
They're
no,
hills.
this
They're
Yeah,
rolling
for
hills.
us in the flatlands, those are mountains. But
When
these
you
are
know the history of
mountains.
Appalachia, though, you give it more respect. They've been around for a long
They're old mountains.
long time.
Yeah.
They are wise mountains, also known as
country
hills.
roads. Take me home. So him and Bukama are speaking also about leaving Malkir and thinking about their old home. And Lance is really eager to return to his battle now. The war's over.
yeah,
He's ready to go back to his battle against the Shadow. That's where that's where his heart is. He wants to go fight the Shadow. And yeah, it's a nice little quick jump over to
Land the Man Dragon.
Land the Man. So
Look,
anything else?
I am just ready for the meetup.
You're ready for the meetup.
And
He's
it's gonna
primed
happen.
for
I
it.
mean,
So Land was just part of a specific battle war. He had specific roles to be told what to do, where to be. Even though he was leading a group of men, like he was still under somebody that was handling the overall strategy. And now that it's over, like we know everything he's capable of. But now that it's over, he's like, I'm gonna just go back and fuck up the Blight. Well, that's kind of like a very ambiguous mission. That's I mean, I don't even know like what to compare that to. It's not, I don't know. It's not, the task is very reactive and you're just going to exist somewhere and see what the fuck happens. But Lan is capable of so much more and has so much more potential. So you're like, not just because we want to see how him and Rain come together. Like, I just need to see Lan become more or run into that opportunity and take advantage of that opportunity to become more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, him going, I'm gonna just go chill on the edge of the Blight and fuck up whatever comes by me. Like, what a waste. What an absolute waste. The more I thought about Lan leading this small group, relatively small group of people under the direction of, somebody else, and White Cloaks got him around. Even then I'm thinking about it going, do y'all not know who the fuck y'all got there? Why is he not running things? Like, absolute waste of talent and potential. So, I need that opportunity, that collision with opportunity to happen.
We get some name drops here of Pedro Nile actually being competent as a general, which was interesting in this read.
I'm not anti-Patronile. He
But
signed up with a frat that, I didn't go to those parties. I thought they were a bit much, too into themselves, However, talented, skilled individual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to start Alan up on this because he could give a list, but there are many generals in warfighting throughout history that were on the losing side that the more I studied, the more I respected. Maybe not. There's certain principles where and that is the reason why history mostly forgot you. But then you look at everything else that made them who they were and tactician and everything, and they're just phenomenal people. So Patronile, White Cloak, we're not supposed to like them right now. Maybe ever. I don't know. But
I mean, Hannibal was a military genius. I mean, the Carthage Wars, Rome eventually won, but
could have gone either way.
Could have gone either way. I mean, he marched all his elephants across the Alps, and he was literally a military genius. But plenty of examples throughout history. Of that.
Didn't win them all.
Didn't win them all. Well, he pretty much won against Rome. It's just that Rome also moved their fleet across and sacked Carthage while he was over there. He's like, crap, go back home. And they had to go back home. And yeah, this debacle. But yeah. All that fun stuff. Yeah, changed Rome forever. He did. Hannibal did. So favorite character or anything from these chapters we missed before we get favorite character?
Oh, we probably missed a lot. I wasn't even paying
Probably not a
attention to
lot.
what you were saying,
No,
Alan. I
we
just
didn't
kept
miss
talking.
anything. We didn't miss anything.
We didn't miss anything.
No.
Any questions left unanswered? Any stones unturned? No. Okay, we're good. All right. Favorite character. Go.
Go ahead, give it to her before I
Akuma.
No.
Well, we have the opportunity to, before it possibly gets tainted, I'm going to have to stick with Elida.
Oh, I like
And
that.
only because if we find out more about her intentions and it's bad, she might not ever get a chance to ever get a shout out again. So I'll go Elida.
And I'm gonna give it to Egwene for passing.
Egwene? That's cute.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Moraine?
Moraine. Y'all know I'm horrible with names.
It's all
Moraine.
The thought of Egwene. Because she,
thought of
she might have been
Egwene.
born. No, she's younger than Rand, so she's not born yet.
She didn't born yet. Thank you for correcting.
She could be a time
give it-
traveler too.
I'm gonna give it to
Time traveling
Moraine for
Egwene.
passing. She made it. She made it through all the trials. And I honestly say that they were tougher than what she went through in her practicing and still managed to make it out.
Okay.
It just shows you that willpower is important because she told herself that this is something that she would do and she did it. So, you know,
I like that too.
I'm gonna have to
like
give it to baby Talmanis. He's out there somewhere doing his thing.
Raj, please don't laugh. You're only encouraging him. It's this is why he keeps doing it. I can't support that.
Swan for mice.
Oh yes,
Yes,
Ah!
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Honorable mention for sure.
Honorable mention. Yeah, it's one for the
Yeah.
mice. Yeah, that's a good one. Putting mice in people's beds. That's a clever tactic. That's fun. It's fun.
It's all right.
I've seen better pranks, but it's fun.
Her heart was in the right place.
Yeah. Exactly. Do you have a favorite character, Raj, from these chapters?
I'll give it to the blue sister who's like questioning Swan about the papers, and then Swan's like, "Oh, I'm uncertain what this means," and she's probably like, "You're a liar. You know what this means. I'm better."
Yeah, Doug
You know
Logan.
who you give it to?
You're too new at this.
I give it to the blue sister that got the pies before the other blue sister got the pies. That's what we missed.
Power move.
That was the important part that we missed. They will still cut in on each other's profit, and they are sly as all get out. These
Oh,
blue
yeah.
sisters are.
Yeah, we're
Stealing the
together, but
pie right
every
under
woman for
her.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Power
hope she
move.
gets a mud pie,
Yeah.
but I also hope she gets a delicious one too.
That's funny. Good
Yep.
picks, except
Good
for
picks.
tall mayonnaise. What is wrong with you, Alan?
Tall mayonnaise.
At this point, I don't even remember his real name.
What? His real name is Tall mayonnaise. Talmanis. Tall mayonnaise.
Skinny ketchup.
Skinny ketchup.
Tamales, tamales,
Tomato, tomato.
Tamales. Y'all making me hungry.
Mm. Fish pie. Gross.
No,
No.
actually, not gross.
Oh, fish
My-
curry is good.
My favorite thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fish curry is really
Why
good.
not?
Like in Singapore, they have fish curry. It's delicious.
I think we're talking about two different things, but I thought
Okay.
about it, and I still agree with you.
Okay.
I just caught that.
I was like fourth or fifth layer giggity. Like you really got to go down to get that.
You do have to go all the way down to the bottom, all the
all
way
the way
down.
down.
You got to get down there.
Absolutely.
It's good.
Giggity.
Mhm.
So, next week we're doing 3 chapters. Business
Oh, giving them the business.
in the city. Business in the city.
You don't want these hands.
Chapter 14. It's not choices, but it's changes.
Changes.
Sure. You see, I said that it's not choices, it's changes. Sure.
And then 15 into Canlum. Canlum? Canlum? I don't know. Canlum. Canlum?
Oh,
Canlum.
Kenloom.
If you can't pronounce it, the rest of us won't be able.
Yeah.
I'll wait till the audiobook pronounces it for me, and they pronounce it wrong anyway. So
Zool, help.
help, help, Zool. I don't know how you pronounce that, but they're going into there, wherever that is, or whatever it is.
Do you have knowledge on the pronunciation, Raj?
Canlum.
What Alan says sounds good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if there has a.
I feel like Raj reads the way most of us do. We make a very good effort, but whatever
It
forms
is
in our head the
pronounced-
first time we see it, that is what it is.
It's pronounced Conloom. Conloom.
There's an N in there.
Pecan.
Con. CAHN. Loom. LOOM. Conloom.
That guttural caw. You got to get the guttural sound. It's Germanic. Interesting.
Like
Yeah.
I've read these books without the audio, so like more than 50% of the names, once I've heard them, they're like, what?
That-
That's
yeah,
how you
that's-
say that? That doesn't
Yeah,
Muggy
I like it.
Dean.
I like it when they use the throat too.
Crisp.
Well, Conloom is kind of like a Germanic French combo. Like they must have met during some war, and you know,
Strasbourg.
Yeah, that-
Conloom.
Loom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what we're doing. Any thoughts on the chapter names?
I
Changes.
think we did it.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna
All right.
see a
Yes,
rain
that's-
chapter where she goes out there and starts handing out money.
You don't think
I
we're going
think
to
she's
be in
not-
with land the entire time here?
I
We're going
think
back
she's
to
gonna-
Marine?
No, I think she's gonna run into land. And he's gonna be like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And they're gonna have some awkward tension between them for a while.
Okay.
No, I think there's gonna be a situation where Land thinks that Moraine's in trouble and he comes to her rescue. Moraine's gonna be like, "I was fine. I had that shit under control. Back the fuck up." Like that's gonna be the start of it. And they're both gonna be like, "You need me. No, you needed me. I saved you. I saved you."
Cool.
It's gonna be that trope.
meet cute, come eventually.
Yeah. Well, Raj, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
You
me.
can find him on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle? I guess it's at
Morden 1024.
1024. All right.
Gordon.
Find all sorts of fun stuff around Wheel of Time. You guys can't follow him because there's spoiler.
Yes.
Yep. Sorry.
Tagged, but it's safe if you don't. Yep.
Hey, in a few more years, we'll be able to.
Yeah, a few more
I
years.
mean, normally I go and I'll add you and then I mute you.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that way I can at least support. But
Yeah.
I've taken a hiatus from social media, so that's the reason why it took me that much longer to log in tonight. So
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Nothing at all.
Those are good.
Hey, hey, my Facebook profile got more birthday wishes than real life Ian got. You ever think about that?
oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, wow.
And then I know text is a little bit closer, but Facebook got more happy birthdays than text.
I pocket video
like
called
10
you.
times more than that's
Yeah.
true. Oh, we did
And then
get to
we
talk
all
about
got
birthday.
to tell you happy.
We all get to
Yeah.
see you on your birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look,
That was
there
good.
was the
I'm not mad
point
about
of-
it. It's just that's where we're at. Like people
Yeah.
think, oh, I hit him
Oh,
on
yeah.
Facebook. That
and
counts.
that's it. Yeah. Nah.
Nothing beats a face to face, right?
I remember
But a
when I
phone
had
call is
like
better than a text. Better
5,000
than
people on my Facebook. I deleted almost all of them. I'm down to like 400 and something, but I had 5,000.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can remember moments with all of these people. And I would get like 1,000 birthday wishes on Facebook. And I'd be like, this is just too much. I can't handle it. Goodbye.
yeah.
Quick.
Come see me in person if it means something to you.
I
you know?
started one day at 3 p.m. and ended at 3 a.m. the next day, deleting people from my Facebook account.
Oh wow.
the
Yeah.
purge.
The Purge. Well, how we can be found is at thewillreads.com. It's our website. You can find links to all sorts of cool stuff. It does work. At least I think it does. I didn't check it today. But I didn't get any notices saying it's not working. so I think it's working. Yeah, go check us out there. You can find links to all sorts of cool stuff like merchandise, get Team Pater shirts, our Will Read shirts, our grab your floaties, all sorts of stuff.
work.
It does work. Tested. Yeah, get frosty mugs, shot glasses, cool stuff. Do that. Patreon, great way to support us. It helps pay for all of the things we do.
Have you ever looked at the About the Host page on our page?
I mean,
Look
I
at Alan's photo. It's hilarious.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
What did I put as my photo? Is it being stupid?
Does he have hair?
Right now?
Does it have
He
I have
actually
hair?
has hair. I wish I could.
Oh yeah,
screen share.
that's
Like,
definitely
compare
just
to
me being
us.
stupid. Perfect. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the like button, subscribe to us on YouTube, on whatever platform you listen to us on podcasts. All of that good stuff. It helps with the algorithms. We
If
like
nothing
that.
else, go onto the website and laugh at our pictures.
Yeah, I think I picked good pictures for all you guys.
Yeah, you did. And
Yeah, and then I picked a
ours
picture
was super serious, and then Alan.
with me.
Ah.
Yeah, well, that sounds about right.
I like the focus on my beard. That was a great picture. Thanks, Alan.
It was
picture.
a great picture.
It was a good picture.
You look
Yeah.
Irish in that picture.
It was very
Yeah.
red. Yeah.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
getting old, bro. The red's gone.
Yeah, might need to take new pictures. I was definitely not as. I was still a little gray in that picture, but yeah, it's
I still look the same.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
it happens.
I'm
Time
happy
keeps
yet,
slipping.
Time keeps slipping.
You know,
Into
haven't reached
the
that 40 age
future. So yeah, go do all that good stuff, and that's all I got for this week. So
Until the time after this.
Peace.
okay, bye.
Thank you for watching The Wheel Reads.
Until next time.
Okay, bye.
Get your Coast Guard certified life-saving
Sure.
device ready and
Sure.
strapped on.
Oh, where are we going tonight?
What kind of strap on you talking about?